Atma Namaskaram. Siddha Vedam, the Moksha Sutram in English. Please find the meanings of the words other than English in the description below. Siddha Vedam, Chapter 6, Part 2.
Swamiji, all that you have stated seems to be true, but how is it in nature we see so many different varieties of creations? There are so-called human beings and there are besides them the so-called beasts like elephants, lion, tigers, cows, goats and so on, and birds like kites, parrots, crows, peacocks, etc. And reptile and water beings like snakes, frogs, fish and many other tiny insects like ants and other microbes, etc., are seen in varied creation. You also said that in all these cases the creation is one and the same. How can these which are found in creation's form be said under one and the same creation? I pray that the same part may be explained in detail to me.
As you said, those seen in varied form and different nature are like this. Some build 8-storied mansions, 4-storied mansions, 2-storied, single-storied, house without story, terraced house, unterraced house, etc., out of stones, bricks, and so on. Those who cannot build like them build small huts out of reed, leaves, etc. And those who cannot build even such huts make hermitage, etc., out of boughs of date palm, leaves of teak, and so on, and all live in them. Who are all thus living in these abodes?
Human beings.
Thus, just as from 8-storied mansion, 4-storied ones, etc., up to sheds and huts made out of leaves, all are the abodes for human beings. Likewise, the bodies which seem in varied form in nature and are misunderstood as Sarira are the cages to live in for all the lives, including ourselves. What exists in these cages, which are thus in different forms naturally?
Jeeva.
How many Jeeva are there?
Only one.
So, simply because of the differences in the nature of their bodies, can you say one is a superior kind of Jiva and another an inferior kind?
No, we cannot say.
Can there not be among those who dwell in humble mud huts men more intelligent than those who live in palaces?
There can be.
Have you any reasons to tell for it?
Yes, I have to tell so many reasons. I have moved with all sorts of such as the kings and landlords, and also with poor people whom they called pulayas and parayas. Among them I have seen such pulayas and parayas who have more merit, ability, self-competency and knowledge than these kings and landlords do possess. Not only this, I have heard and seen that there were saints of great dignity such as Tiruvalluvar, Pakanar and Nandana, etc. They are even now praised and their words and ideas, treatises and laws, etc. are followed by the world as they are considered to be true and sound. It is my belief that their dignity is greater than of those who consider themselves as kings and landlords, etc.
So, is intellect and wisdom a monopoly of any class?
No.
In what kind of habitations did these saints, Tiruvalluvar, Pakanar, and Nandanar live, and in what kind of habitations do these poor Pulayas and Parayas live?
The pulayas and parayas whom I have come across are living in mud holes covered with leaves. I have heard it and said that Tiruvalluvar, Pakanar and Nandanar are also living in small huts built of leaves, etc. in wilderness.
So, is it so that only people living in particular homes will have superior sense and knowledge?
It is not so.
Now, hear me. The bodies or Jadam of the so called human beings are something like the 8-storied palaces. those of the so called beast or something like the four storied palaces, and those of the so called ant or something like the huts. But can you say that the Jeeva of the so called ant living in a mud hole is different from the Jeeva of the so called man in the eight storied palace?
There is no difference
But where does the difference lie?
in their habitations.
By these differences in the habitations, is there any differences in the intellectual capacities?
No,
But now, can we prove that the lives living in the so called human beings do not possess energy and intelligence as that possessed by lives living in the bodies of ants, flies, etc., which are considered to be just equal to those living in sheds, hermitage, etc.? It is like this. Do you not see that the ant is carrying single headed a weight bigger and heavier than its own? Is it possible to the so called human beings to lift up single handed a weight bigger and heavier than themselves?
no,
Not only that, these ants are very intelligent. We have seen that they work systematically, overcoming all obstacles and store their food for future use with great foresight and imagination. Isn't it?
yes, we have seen.
Not only this, the state of its speed is like this. When one multitude of ants is going and coming through a narrow lane, suppose one such so called human being passes through that narrow lane very swiftly, then what will this multitude of ants do to the person?
They will climb over him from his foot to the head.
So, who has got more speed?
Ants.
Like this, various beings do various things with very great insight, caution, and forethought. We are also a kind of being. We also do several things quite cleverly and intelligently, but beings like bees, spider, and weaver birds and hornets do things which we can never do. Among these creatures, the behavior of bees is very interesting. These animals make big hives beneath suitable branches and store 5 or 10 measures or more of honey and live there. Animals other than men make their abodes independently without any help from other beings. By doing so, they do not at all give, by any means, any trouble or hardship to other beings. But if we have to build one house, we have to destroy so many animals. We have to destroy so many trees, a number of sowers, etc must work. Yes, we cannot either build a house or do anything by our own effort without the help of others. What to say more? Even for cutting either the root of banyan tree or the twig of neem tree, etc., in order to brush our teeth, without the help of some weapon, we cannot cut it. But the above said beings can collect whatever necessary for them and build their own abodes with their own energy itself without the help of others. The abode thus built to live for them does not fall down and destroy either due to a kind of a storm or due to a heavy downpour of rain, or it does not face any other troubles. But if we, who consider ourselves as human beings, spend crores of rupees, put a very hard and strong foundation of stone on that, build a house for us to live, it will break down and be destroyed due to heavy downpours or storms. But the above said beehives do not fall down or get destroyed. It is because it thinks about the spot where it has to build the nest and constructs the nest on having the conviction that if it builds the nest in that place, it will be faced with no trouble even if there comes storms or rains. It is because we have no such sense that what we build will be destroyed. Therefore, We have to know that the wisdom of the above said beings is more profound and wonderful. Further, you observe the behavior of birds. When the female bird is pregnant, the male and female pick up twigs, blades of grass, etc., and build a wonderful nest. Then the female lay eggs in that nest, and both the male and female brood over it alternatively. When they know that the eggs are mature and young ones are developed within the eggs, they hatch the eggs and bring up the young ones very affectionately. Considering that since those young ones do not have their own power at that time, they are unable to look after themselves. The two birds, which are the parents, strive and strain very hard for them, pick up foods, feed them in their mouth, and save them. When wings etc. grow, these birds teach those young ones to fly and to pick up food etc. When they get the self power to fly and seek food for themselves, the parents leave off the relationship hitherto they have towards them and the efforts for them, consider them with equal mindedness, and join them in the society. After that, there is no such relationship between them, either as father or as a mother, or as a son or as daughter. They behave equal mindedly in such a manner that if mother, all are mother; if father, all are father; if children, all are children. Therefore, it seems that their superior sense is greatly surprising. That is, while the young ones lie without self power, without discrimination, and without sense, since there appears to the parent birds the superior sense that till such young ones get their self power, they themselves fly and seek food and are capable to live, they are responsible for them. They enjoy the sufferings as above said and save the young ones. And when the parents get the complete belief that the young ones have had complete power for their livelihood, they join them in their society. In the same manner itself, those young ones also leave off the affection that they are their parents and join and unite with the society and behave equal mindedly. Are these not within our observation?
Yes, these are within our observation.
If we, who consider ourselves as human beings and as having the superior sense, give birth to a child, we do not at all take such care for it that the above said birds take. Laying down the child on a mat or something else, the mothers go for their work in various directions. They feed the child at any time after retiring from their work. At that time, the stomach of the child will be dried up. Besides, the mother's milk at that time will be fully heated up and mixed with various fluids and will be spoilt. If not, the mothers, without any thought or sense of discrimination, feed the child either the breast milk of woman with various kind of diseases or some fruits. Therefore, that child suffers due to various kinds of diseases. In the case of birds, while one of the parents goes out for food, the other sits near the young ones and do the necessary cares for them. We do not do like this. Not only this, even if the offspring begotten by those who consider themselves as human beings with superior sense become 100 years old, and if his parents happen to be alive, they consider as my son, my daughter. My son must be provided with. My daughter must be provided with. He is foreign. He must not be provided with. It must be hidden since he comes, etc. And likewise, that offspring also considers as my mother, my father. My mother must be provided with. My father must be provided with. It belongs to my mother. This is to my father. These are my relations. Others are foreigners. They must not be provided with. They must not be shown, and so on. These are all false considerations and are the great darkness of passions and desires. Thus, in the world, the state of the bipeds who consider themselves as human beings seems to be beasts in such great darkness of passions and desire, like the above said false consideration, without any superior sense and knowledge. Is it not the instance experienced to us?
Yes,
We don't think about these things, and that is why we are ignorant instead of getting enlightened. That is, there is a blind belief felt in common in this world due to the false consideration that I am the human being. I am alone the most superior being in all the living creatures. What I do alone is with wisdom and knowledge, and all the other lives has no superiority and they are inferior to me, etc. Such understanding arises because of those who consider themselves as human beings have no sense of prudence at all. If we see a thing or hear about a thing or have a conception of anything and we reason out about them properly, we can arrive at the truth. Without doing so, people blindly believe that I am the superior one, others are very base and they are inferior to us. It is due to the false consideration arisen out of such blind belief that people become ignorant. It is because Iswara is Jeeva, that Iswara resides in his own heart and manifests himself through the mechanism of Maya in all beings. The substance exists in all elements is Ishvara. That divine power has only one Shakti and not two. It is because we have not understood the truth that we consider our Shakti is separate and that of others is also separate. When we comprehend the ultimate truth, then we come to know that there is no two Shakti, but there is only one Shakti, and that is our own Shakti. At that time, false pride and passions and desires vanish away, and we become the Self. Thank you. Atma Namaskaram. End of chapter 6, part 2. For those who are willing to get initiation of Siddha Vidya, please contact our Chennai Siddha Vidya Nilayam Trust Head Office at Tamil Nadu, India. The address details are Chennai Siddha Vidya Nilayam Trust, 69 Sivaprakasam Road, Sivanandapuram, Vadamadurai via Periyapalayam. Postcode 601102. Contact phone number +91 9790600015. Atma Namaskaram.